Hey guys, Dan here. This week we are looking at the Backlight 26l from MindShift Gear. Now MindShift Gear, if you're not familiar with them, is the sister company to Think Tank Photo, but they concentrate purely on the outdoor and adventure photography market. So it's a very different style of backpack, but we have the same great design, great build quality, and great feature set that we come to know and love from Think Tank bags. Now, if you've looked at the reviews on the site before, you will see a lot of different MindShift bags. They have quite a good range, and because I personally concentrate on a lot of outdoor and adventure photography anyway, these bags really fit with what I do. One of the things that we've seen from a lot of their bags is the unique rotation 180 system. It's a system that really put them on the map, and it allows you to access your camera gear by rotating a belt pack portion of the bag around to the front, so you can get gear out without taking the pack off your back. Now this works in many situations, but if it's not something that you end up using, then it can be a little bit cumbersome to use on a daily basis. It's great if you need the rotating feature, but it's not the fastest way to get to your gear if you don't need that feature. And one of the more standard ways to get into camera bags that are designed for outdoor usage is to have a back panel opening. So the Backlight 26l is the first MindShift bag to have purely a back panel opening system. We had a back panel opener on the top half of the Rotation 180 Professional. We've had front openers with the first MindShift First Light packs, the 20 L, 30 and 40 L. But this here, the 26 Backlight, is the first one with the main opening to be the back panel. Now, why do you want a back panel opener as opposed to something else? Well, when you're outdoors, if you put the bag down on the ground, you don't want to have, a lot of times you don't want to have a bag where you do this with and open up the front like this, because what happens is you're putting the back and the shoulder straps in the dirt, the mud, the sand, the snow, and then of course you've got to put this back on your back and you're just going to get yourself either wet or muddy. So that's the main reason why back panel opening packs work really well for outdoor and adventure style photography. So I'm really glad to see MindShift making this option for people. As usual, we're going to do like a walkthrough of all the features. I've been using this bag for a number of months actually. I've taken it all the way through British Columbia and up to the Yukon, almost as far as the Arctic Circle in fact. It's a little bit grubby in places, so I apologize for that. But we're going to walk through it and I'll discuss how some of the features work. I've got a pretty good handle on this pack now with that kind of usage under my belt. So we'll also compare it to a few of the other MindShift bags that I have in the office here. So hopefully this is going to be useful for you guys making a decision on packs of this type. So let's do the standard walkthrough. We'll check out all of the features. Now, let's just start from the front. Let's just start right from the front here. The difference to some of the other MindShift bags is that this bag is designed to carry not just your camera gear, but also your laptop and a bunch of other stuff as well. The other bags have had the top half of the bag designed for non-photography gear, but none of them have really had really exceptional ways to carry laptops, because that's just not been part of the design philosophy for those kind of bags. It's not something that outdoor photographers always need, but sometimes we'll find ourselves needing to travel. And when I took this bag on my recent flight to the Yukon, I decided to forego my usual double bag system, personal item with my laptop in and a camera bag, and I put everything inside this pack to see what it was like to travel with just one bag. And it was actually quite refreshing. It made me make my gear selection a little bit smaller for the trip, which ended up not being a problem at all when I was on there. I think most photographers have a bag of a certain size and they just fill that bag when they're packing. I mean, whether they need the stuff or not, they see a little bit of extra space and like, oh, I could have one more lens or, one little extra accessory. And when I committed to using just this one bag, I found that, yeah, I could get everything I needed in here. I had cameras, laptop, all my chargers, cables, even my video stuff, microphones and stuff like that. And yeah, it was a heavy, full bag, but I didn't have any problems just using this. So let's walk through these features then. On the front, we have a zippered pocket here. Now, in this is the rain cover. Rain cover is an optional extra with this bag. I do recommend that you get it. I would like to have seen this included with the bag. I think outdoor bags should come with a rain cover. Some of the MindShift ones do, some of them don't. I believe this is one of the ones that doesn't, so this is an extra. Now, this is a spacious pocket on the front here. I mean, you could get a decent sized jacket. You can easily get a shell rain jacket and a pair of shell, Gore-Tex style rain pants in there, so that's a great usage. But there will be space left over. I mean, you could get a reasonably insulated jacket in that front pocket. It's quite big. On the front of this, we've got some daisy chain loops, good for putting carabiners, tying extra equipment to the front there. Ice axe loops here as well. If you want to go that route, you're going to have some ice axes on there. You can hook those through. And then we've got these bungee cords here to tie the handles to. Of course, they don't have to be axes. You can use hiking poles on there as well if you don't need anything quite as extreme as an ice axe. This little thing here is for clipping an LED light too. If you're going to be riding a bike, then you can put a little red flashing LED on there. That's a neat little safety feature that might come in handy to someone. Now, yeah, we've got elastic on both sides for your hiking poles. So that's the main, that's the first front pocket. Now, we have another pocket on the front here, which again is, I mean, I'm going to flip this forwards like that. Hopefully you guys can see that this is actually a pretty cavernous pocket. You can get an awful lot of stuff in here. I really like that they've got this, this wide mouth opening going on here. So it makes it not only easy to pack a lot of stuff, but easy to find it when you have put lots of stuff in there. So that worked great. I mean, I was putting my GPS in there, I was putting gloves in there, all kinds of accessories, all my cable bags for my laptop stuff, power cords and that kind of stuff. And then we have a little organizer section here. So here we have a sleeve which will take a 15-inch MacBook Pro, just swallows that nicely. Then you have the next pocket forwards is designed for your tablet, so this will take a 10-inch tablet. I just have an iPad mini, so that was super easy to fit in there. And then we have some business card holders and slots to put pens, just the usual sort of office organizer things. But it's the first time that a backpack from MindShift Gear has had this kind of functionality to it, so it's worth noting. If you're looking to travel with one bag with your laptop in, laptops fit in some of the other MindShift bags. They do fit quite well in the front pocket of the first light packs, but they're not well protected there. You have to put them in a separate sleeve. So this is really the first one that has come with, really dedicated holder for this kind of stuff. And like I said, just a ton of room. This front pocket and this main pocket hold way more stuff than I ever thought they would. You can put extra camera gear in there if you need to, or you can just load it up with your food and snacks and clothing. Okay, what's next? Oh, let's talk about tripods. Always got to have a tripod holder for an outdoor photography bag. So on this front here, we have a little hook and loop thing opens up and a tripod cup pulls out. So this is where you put the feet of your tripod. And then at the top here, we have another hook and loop thing. And this is for securing the top of the tripod. So what's nice about this is that they're always on the bag. They're not an additional accessory you have to remember to bring with you. They are part of the bag. You can tuck them away when you don't need them. One of the disadvantages of front mounting a tripod on this particular pack though, I found it to be less than optimal because with the strap, the top strap here is actually at the back on top of all of these zips. So if you have a tripod on here, let me just bring that around there. If you strap a tripod on here, it really gets in the way of being able to open up these two front pockets. It basically means you can't successfully get stuff out of the two front pockets when there's a tripod on there. So definitely not ideal, but the solution to that is of course to put the tripod on the side of the bag, which is what I ended up doing. So not such a big deal. For the most part, I don't put tripods on the front anyway because it pulls you backwards too much. It puts too much weight off your center of gravity, and I tend to like to put them on the side anyway. So for me, not a big deal, but definitely something to bear in mind. If you're just putting stuff in the front pocket that you only want to access occasionally, then might not be a problem. But if you were putting stuff in there that you were going to get out every time you stopped to take a photo, then it might be a little bit cumbersome if you had a tripod on the front. Additionally, we have a small pocket on the top here, which I found to be too tight. I'm not sure I ever ended up putting anything in it. I mean, you could squeeze your passport in there, I guess, if you were traveling. But I would like to have seen it have a little bit more room and maybe some kind of a key clip in there to secure, you know, memory card, wallet, or keys. And oddly, there isn't a clip in the front organizer of the bag as well. I really think this was an oversight on MindShift's part, because they even sell, and I use, memory card wallets that have these little attachment clips on them, which are designed to clip into other clips in camera bags. And in all the 7 or 8 other camera bags that I've reviewed from them, they have at least 1, if not 2 of these clips, which are great for securing your expensive memory card wallet that's containing, you know, all your important photos, your memories, and potentially $500 worth of memory cards itself. And yet, with all this organization in the front, that was something that they seem to have forgotten to include, which is an odd thing. And I've even thought about trying to sew something in myself, because I love this pack, but I do miss having that. It would have been good in the front, or it would have been good in the top, but I would like to have seen a little more room to do something useful with this top pocket. I didn't find it useful. So on the side of the pack, we have an elasticated pocket, which is really nice. It actually stretches pretty big. This is where you can put your big Nalgene water bottle. That's a really great place to put that. We've got a cinch strap here to tighten this down. And then we have a strap across the top for securing a tripod as well. So my place for putting the tripod on this bag ended up being the side. I put 2 feet in this pocket and I secured the top of it with this strap right there. It works great. A smaller tripod kind of fits the style of this bag. It is quite a small bag compared to some of the bigger ones that I've used, 40 liters and things like that. So I found a travel style tripod. Mine was a Really Right Stuff TQC 14. Was the absolute perfect size to go on the side of this, and it sort of fits. It's about exactly the same height as the bag, so it didn't feel like it was going to swing around and hit me in the back of the head. What else to talk about with this? We have the elasticated pocket on the other side as well, so you can put tripod on either side, water bottle on one side. An inevitable question when talking about a bag that is designed for outdoor usage and hiking is, where does the water bladder go? Okay. So on I think all of the MindShift Gear bags that I've used up to this point, at least all the Rotation 180 bags, have had dedicated water bladder pockets. That's not the case with this bag. There actually isn't a specific place to put a water bladder on this. I guess I don't mind, because you can use an Nalgene style water bottle, which I often use anyway, so not a huge deal, but I do think some people are going to be a bit disappointed in that. I know a lot of people really fixate on how am I going to get a water bladder in my camera bag safely. You can put it in the front pocket. There's plenty of space here. It's just there isn't a hose routing port to run it through to the front. And also there isn't a little clip to hold it and support it at the top of the bag. I think, again, this is a missed opportunity here from MindShift, because they could have just put the tiniest little hook and loop securing thing, which they have in all of the water bladder pockets on the Rotation 180 backs, which would have cost a few cents, and then it would have given people an option to use this front pocket properly as a water bladder solution if someone really wanted to do that. So you can put one in the front, but it's definitely not ideal, and you'll just have to run the hose out of the zipper. So my advice would be to just go with using a water bottle and stick it in the side pocket, because the side pockets are huge. Okay, so turning around, good thick hip belts on this, and we have these big rails to add additional things. There are no pockets themselves on the side, which I don't mind. I tend to find that often camera bag manufacturers make the pockets too small on these things anyway, so this at least gives you the option to put accessory bags on there to suit your own needs. MindShift make them, Think Tank have a ton of them, Low Pro, you name it. Everyone's got some kind of accessory bag that will fit here, which you can use for your point and shoot camera, or you could use MindShift's Filter Hive, which is their filter carrying pack. Those work great on there. Okay, so here is the back panel. Nice thick padding, especially the lumbar support, extra thick here. Super comfortable. I did some really long hikes with this pack. Never had any comfort issues whatsoever. Similar padding to the rotation, horizon and panorama packs, if not maybe a little bit thicker, a little bit more comfortable. It's a different, same material, but slightly different design. But I found this, I think, to be slightly more comfortable. I really enjoyed carrying it. It was great. Okay, flipping it open. We have a decent size main compartment here. What we don't have is a removable camera insert, which is something that has been popular in recent years amongst companies like f-stop gear, Low Pro, and a lot of the other MindShift packs. The good thing about that is, well, there's two good things. Number one, they kept the price down with this bag. This is a lot of bag here for $260. I think it's probably the best value backpack that is in the MindShift lineup. So take that into account. The simplified system here without removable things has kept the price down. That's one of the reasons that it can be at this price point, I suspect. The other reason that helps is that it really helps to maximize the available volume for camera gear, because you don't have to have double thickness of walls from the bag itself and then the actual camera block. So even though this is a 26-liter pack, I was really surprised at how much I was able to get in here. I was getting 2 camera bodies, I was getting my 100 to 400 and about 4 or 5 other lenses and my filters in this section here. On the MindShift website, it's going to tell you that it's designed for standard size cameras, you know, your D800s, your 5D Mark IIIs, 7Ds, that kind of stuff. It is fairly shallow, but I was surprised to find that I could actually fit my 7D Mark II with a battery grip in here. And there was a small amount of the camera sticking above the height of the zipper, but it was only fractional. And the thickness of this back panel is so thick that it wasn't something that I could feel when I was carrying the bag around. You couldn't even see it when this was closed up. So whilst it's not technically recommended, I can say that you could get a pro-sized body in here and it will work. It might not be optimal for you. You maybe test it out before you buy it, because it is not, you know, technically a feature of the bag. But I carried a 7D Mark II with the battery grip for many months in here, no problems. So usual array of dividers, set it up tons of different ways. You can squeeze a Canon 200 to 400 in here as well if you want to put that there. So that means you could probably squeeze a 500mm in here if you put the camera down the side. You can't have it attached to the camera, but you know, it's possible if you needed to get a large lens like that, you could probably get something in there. 2 mesh pockets in the lid here. Useful for your batteries and your memory card holders, stuff like that. Then we have this kind of interesting, what they call it, this is, okay, so this is a feature of the bag. I'm not convinced about it. I'm not gonna, how do I say this? I don't want to be too, I don't want to sound too rude about this. I feel like when they came up with this bag, they wanted to find a feature that they could talk about that was kind of the main feature of the bag, rather than just saying this is a great bag already. And so they came up with this solution to have an elastic strap on this back panel here. And the idea being that you have this backpack on and then you rotate it around. So let me see if I can do this for you here. I hadn't planned on doing this while I was making the video, so let's just see if I can. So imagine that I've been wearing the backpack. And instead of taking the backpack off to get my camera gear out, perhaps I didn't want to put it on the ground, so I have just rotated it around. So the weight of the bag is just kind of on the hips here. Now, what this is supposed to be for, I'm not sure how well you guys can see because of the table, so I'll stand on tiptoes. Maybe if I just try and hoist it up a bit. I really should have planned this one better. Okay, so this elastic strap is supposed to be so that you can put it over your head like this, And now you have access to your camera gear. The only thing is, I just don't have a problem with just taking stuff out without it. So I don't really need this. And also, it's tied on, it's just kind of tied on awkwardly. It kept coming undone, and frankly, it just kept getting in the way, and I never once felt like I wanted to stand there and put an elastic, which is actually too tight. I just don't want to put an elastic strap around my neck. I don't think it was necessary. So sorry, MindShift, on that one. I'm not convinced. But the bag is wonderful without it. Just don't think it needed that feature as a differentiator from just being a just generally great back panel opening pack. So, okay, let's zip this up. I'm going to show you guys a couple of other packs that I also have here, just as something of a comparison. I can't show you all of the ones I have lying around. We'd be here all day, but I've done reviews of lots and lots of bags from MindShift. So if you check out the review, then there'll be links to all the other reviews as well. So let me just take my laptop out because it's making this a little bit unbalanced. Okay, down here, this is the First Light 30 liter. So this is 26 liters and this is 30 liters. In the MindShift lineup, these are the two closest bags. So I thought it makes sense to show you this one just really quickly so you can get something of an idea on the relative sizing of the two packs. Just kind of rotate them. Obviously this one here is a little bit bigger. The main difference being this one is a back panel opener and the First Light is a front panel opener. So a little bit tricky for me to show you completely because I've got all my flash gear in here. This is two Elinchrom ELB 400 flash units. This is my flash kit. But what's great about front panel openers is they have the biggest aperture for putting stuff in on the bag because they don't have to hide the opening behind backpack straps like you do on a back panel opener. So the disadvantage is you end up putting the back and the shoulder straps on the ground, but the advantage is you get the biggest possible opening. So I find these kind of bags great for this stuff, big items, big flash stuff, big cables, you know, flash reflectors, stuff like that. To me, it makes sense to use that stuff in a front panel opener like this. And in the First Light 40, that's where I put my big wildlife lenses, my 200 to 400 Canon. And, you know, if I'm going out with all that big stuff, then again, it makes sense to use the bag with the biggest opening. So that's where a front panel opening pack shines. The disadvantage of the First Light pack versus this one is that there's very little extra room in this one. There is two zippered front pockets, but collectively, the volume of those two front pockets is similar only to about the volume of the smaller of the two on the front of the 26 Backlight here. So comparing these two, there is considerably more room for non-photographic stuff in the 26 liter pack. Even though this is the smaller pack, it has the dedicated laptop and iPad sleeve and just all that extra space for putting all your other gear, whereas this is really all about the photo gear. There's not a lot of extra space. The other one that I have, which is somewhat similar, is the Rotation 180 Horizon. This is a 34 liter pack. So again, I would recommend just taking a look at the review that I've done of the Horizon, but I just wanted to put them on the table together so you can kind of see something of an idea between these different packs if you've been browsing the MindShift site and seeing these different things. We've got the 26 Backlight, the 34 liter Horizon, and this is the First Light 30 liter. So the deal with the Horizon here is that it's one of the Rotation 180 packs. The belt pack rotates out from the bottom of the bag, and the whole top half of the bag, which is about this section here, is designed for all your other stuff. So in terms of additional gear that's non-photographic, then the Rotation 180 packs always deliver the largest amount of space for your extra stuff because it represents usually more than half the volume of the pack. All right, I think that's all I wanted to say in terms of the features on this bag. I hope you guys found that run through useful, hopefully answered a few questions about what it might be good for. In general, I really enjoyed using this bag. I found it wonderful to travel with on an airplane. If you can get all the kit you need in a single bag, then it works perfectly. I mean, it really does. There's so much room in these front pockets, and to me, that's really where they hit it out of the park with this. They didn't shy on giving us space to really stuff extra gear in the front here. So you have room for your computer and all that stuff, power cables, USB cables, hard drives, all that, but there's still room for jackets and, you know, general other things that you might need on a day of traveling as well. So that is awesome. I love the color on this as well. I think it looks wonderful. I hope they do that with some more of their packs. It hits a great price point. I mean, $260 for this is really one of the best value bags I've reviewed in a very long time. Certainly the First Light packs, which are used, I showed you one of them. Those are a little bit more expensive. So this just again underlines the value in this bag. And yeah, I think if you can fit the stuff in a 26-liter pack and you're looking for a back panel opening pack, then this is a really wonderful option. The only slight misgivings I had about it were potentially the placement of this top tripod strap. I think, you know, if maybe it had been further forwards in front of the zippers, it wouldn't have got in the way of this front pocket quite so much. And this slightly unnecessary elastic strap, but it's not a negative feature that it has it, because it doesn't get in the way too much. You can, you know, tie it up and tuck it in the pocket, or just take it off completely if you don't need it. Yeah, I just didn't think I needed it. And the smaller top pocket here, which I didn't find too much use for, and then of course being aware that if you want to carry water, then there isn't a bladder pocket on this pack. You're going to want to go with a Nalgene, you know, 1 liter, 1.5 liter plastic bottle instead. But again, not the worst thing in the world, but just something to be aware of. So yeah, really great pack. Definitely something I'm going to be using for a lot longer. MindShift 26-liter Backlight. Thanks for watching, guys. Give us a thumbs up on YouTube if you enjoyed the video. We'll have plenty more of this stuff in the future as well, so please hit the button in the corner and subscribe to the channel. If you are watching directly on YouTube, head to the description below as well. You're going to find a link to the review there, ton more photos and other content, reviews of all of these other MindShift bags as well on the website. Thanks for watching.